Hi there. I'm Francie White. I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner and a somatic experiencing practitioner here in Eugene, Oregon. And what I have for you today is a little 5-minute Feldy that will go along with the longer lesson called Foot Against the Wall. And foot against the wall is one way that we can get out of gravity and we can really examine and feel the connections from our feet all the way up through our knees into our hip joint and our head that allows us to walk and feel and have more stability and balance in walking. So we don't need to do this on the floor. You can do this just in a chair, and this is really handy. I have used this actually when I've been in airplanes. And when you're sitting a lot and hanging around and you can't really get up and walk around, this is a way to kind of impact your feet and your muscles in your legs and kind of let your nervous system think it's walking when it's really not. So what we're going to do is really feel our feet. So begin by noticing your contact of your feet with the floor. How much of the floor can you feel with each foot? So just start with the right foot and just feel how wide is your foot, how long is your foot. Where can you feel that your foot is exerting a little bit more pressure on one part of the foot than the other? So maybe you can feel it more in your heel, more towards the front of your foot, more towards the right, more towards the left, and just kind of get an idea and map the bottom of your foot now at the beginning. And so the first thing we can do is just very gently and very small, just lift the inside of your foot just a little bit off the floor and bring it back down. So we're increasing the pressure on the outside edge of the foot. And just kind of notice how you do this. What muscles are having to work to allow you to move your foot like this? And notice that this side of your leg, this muscle is contracting while this muscle is lengthening. So when we have these opposing muscle groups, one side is going to contract while the other one has to lengthen. Okay, and we have this collection of opposing muscles that are constantly contracting and releasing to allow us to walk through space. So just doing this, and now start to notice what's happening in your ankle, and notice what's happening in your knee, and see if you can keep your knee from moving. Keep your knee straight. So if you move your foot too much, your knee is going to move. But see if you can just move it enough so it's just the ankle that's moving and your knee is not moving. And then start to notice what you can feel in your hip joint. Does this impulse go all the way up to your hip joint? And now pause. Rest for just a moment. And now do the same thing on the outside edge. So we're just going to lift the outside edge just a little bit and enough so you can keep your knee in one spot. So we're just moving the ankle. And here comes my cat. Yes, I'm sorry, sweetie. So you allow your foot just to increasing the pressure on the inside, lifting up your foot on the outside. And again, noticing how you do that. What's happening in your ankle joint? What can you feel in your knee? And notice now that this side, you may be able to feel the muscle contracting on this side, and it's going to have to lengthen on this side to allow this movement. And notice what's happening in your hip joint. And then alternate. So this is not about exercise. This is about feeling yourself, about bringing your sensory awareness inside your body and noticing what it feels like. And this is how we can increase our movement vocabulary so that we can improve our balance and stability in walking. Just moving your foot like this is not really going to help. It's actually feeling what's happening in your muscles and noticing, always staying underneath any level of pain or discomfort also. So now pause, and now we're going to go front and back. So we're doing our cardinal directions. So now lift your heel a little bit off the floor. So you're just increasing the pressure on the floor or the front of your foot. and get up and let the cat out. There you go, baby. There you go. So where was I? So we're lifting our heel up off the floor just a tiny bit. And see if you can feel how wide your foot is in the front. Notice your toes. See if you can feel each toe. You can press each toe into the floor as you go along. And now your knee is probably going to have to come up. You can't keep your knee still with this. It's going to come up. But see what you can notice in your knee and in your hip joint. And you might even be able to feel something in your lower back. And so just see if you can notice that. And now you might notice that the back of our leg here is contracting and the front is letting go. So the problem can be if you have a muscle that's permanently contracted, if it's just contracted a lot, it's going to have trouble letting go and letting the other side contract. So now lift the front of your foot. So now we're increasing the pressure on our heel. And again, notice what's happening in your knee, in your ankle joint, what's happening in your hip joint. And now this shin muscle is contracting and the muscle in your calf is having to let go. And so just noticing all this, then stop, pause, and now notice the footprint, the literal footprint of your foot on the floor now. How much of it can you feel? And I would not be surprised if it felt like it was bigger. So now here is the final movement, and that is doing circles. So lift the inner part of your foot, and then lift your heel, and then lift the outer part of your foot, then lift the front of your foot, and just go around in little circles. And see if you can keep your knee a little bit still. Just don't let it go wildly, just keep it kind of still. And then also notice what's happening in your hip joint. Maybe you can feel something in your back. As I said, I've been on airplanes where I started getting Jimmy legs, restless legs. And this is really good for restless legs. Very good for restless legs. And then change directions. And this is something that you can, if you have restless legs, you can do this every day and it will probably start to help it increase. Since I've been in the Feldenkrais program and been doing a lot of these kinds of lessons, my Jimmy legs just don't come back very often. I used to get them all the time and now I don't. And it's, the muscles have just kind of learned how to contract and expand the way they need to. And I just don't have that problem anymore. So did the right leg, you can do the same thing with the left leg. And again, this is something that is really good to do if you're having to sit a lot and your legs just feel like they need to get up and walk around. Enjoy this lesson and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I also, at Integrated Self Eugene, and I also have a website, integratedselfeugene.com. And thanks so much for watching and I hope you have a great day.